grab a cup of coffee and saddle up, my partners, because we are trimming a brisket. Now, I am no expert, but I have trimmed a lot of briskets. So I'm just going to kind of walk you guys through my process here, like what I like to do. First, I start on the edges and I trim all the way around, getting that gray meat off there. Now, a brisket is expensive, but so is 20 plus hours of my time cooking this thing. So I'm not going to leave any trash on the brisket. We're going to make the best brisket possible. Like, that's the whole point here. And I know there's going to be a dude down in the comments who's like, I've cooked brisket for 69 years at my barbecue restaurant, blah, 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 and you're doing it wrong. Well, you know what, dude? Great. Happy for you. So, after trimming up the edges, we're going to take off all these little caps of fat that are all around the brisket. These are just pockets of fat that is going to prevent seasoning from actually getting down to the brisket. There's a huge fat cap on the other side. All of this fat is wildly unnecessary. It's not intramuscular fat. It's intermuscular fat, which is the fat between muscles, not the fat inside of the muscles. That fat inside of the muscles is the good. As you can see, like on this cut here, you see all that fat speckled inside of the point. That's the good fat. That's the fat that renders out and makes it super tender. The fat cap around the outside is used to help to protect the meat while we're cooking it. But we need that fat layer to be even. So we're going to round off all the edges. We're going to make this brisket as aerodynamic as possible. That way, when we put it in the smoker, smoke can flow over and around it and really cook this very, very evenly. The brisket, if you're not aware of this, it's actually two separate muscles. It's the external and the internal pectoral. So it's the cow boob. We're cooking cow boobs here. So one side is flat and lean, and the other side is thick and fatty. And then, of course, you have crap like this sticking off of it. So we're going to cut all that off because that is the opposite of aerodynamic. Being that it's two muscles, it's very difficult to cook this all together. It's an imperfect cook, but it comes out to an amazing piece of meat when it's done. That's really the point of trimming here, is to make this as even as possible. That way, your cook goes as smooth as possible. What we're really doing is trying to avoid potential pitfalls during the cook process here. And as you can see, that fat cap is huge on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim that down just a little bit. Most people will tell you about 1/4 inch is good, a good fat cap on the flat there. And the reason for that is it's going to protect the meat plenty. And then when you go to slice this later on, you have just a nice little cap of fat on there, because that cap's not going to go away. That fat's not going to go away. It's going to be there forever, when you go to serve it. So you don't want to serve brisket slices that has, 1 inch of fat around it. Like, that would not be the best, So going to just continue to cut on this. Now, you can see that big old huge chunk of fat on the left side there. That is the decal. That's the fat that runs between the flat, the thinner part, and the point, the big thick part. And what I'm going to do at the end here is just kind of carve some of that out there, because that stuff is not going to render. And that's it. That is my fully trimmed brisket. Give it a try. Have a good one. Cheers, y'all.